Real talk with Fierce Fighter. For every parent raising a hand, for every child needing a chance, for every classroom left behind, we speak the truth out loud tonight. Newark, I hear you, I see you, I stand with you. We don't ask for scraps, we ask for justice. Education is equity, equity is power, power belongs to the people, and the people won't be silenced. Real talk, fierce fighter. Real talk for Newark. Real talk, we rise up. Real talk, we move forward. This is your voice. This is our city. This is the fight.
Welcome to Real Talk with Fierce Fighter, where real people experience real issues and we have real conversations for real solutions. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, guys, tonight is just a free for all. Open discussions, open conversations, whatever it is that you want to talk about tonight, bring it on. And one thing, under Section 107, the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, research, advocacy, and public discussion. Real Talk with Fierce Fighter may contain copyrighted material, including video clips, images, audio, screenshots, articles, and other media, the use of which has not always been specifically authorized by the copyright owner. Such material is made available for the purpose of commentary, criticism, education, awareness, community engagement, and public discussion. The content presented on this platform is transformative in nature and is intended to add value through analysis, opinion, commentary, and educational discussion only. All rights and credit belong to their respective owners, and no copyright infringement is intended. The views, opinions, and experiences shared by hosts and guests are their own and are intended for information purposes only. Now let's get started. There's so much to embark on. Oh my goodness. So much is going on in the community. Have you guys noticed? Have you guys noticed? I mean, are you watching? Are you watching? I'm hearing some of everything about what's going on down there at Delaney Hall. It is crazy. One fella was on his way to work and they blocked it off. And he pleaded with them, pleaded to let him get to work. What has he done? Those were all the questions that he asked. And good evening and welcome to Real Talk with Fierce Fighter. We're going to have a fierce conversation on tonight, even though it's open. I'm your host, Fierce Fighter, and I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me tonight. This platform was created because our communities deserve a space where people can speak openly, respectfully, and honestly about issues affecting our everyday lives, whether it's education, housing, mental health, public safety, parenting, employment, and community concerns. Your voice matters. Tonight is open discussion night. That means there is no set script, no predetermined outcome. Tonight is just about hearing from you. What's on your mind? What challenges are you seeing in your neighborhood? What solutions do you believe can make a difference? What conversations are we not having that we should be? Too often people feel unheard, so Too often communities feel overlooked, but tonight, we're creating a space where every voice matters and every story counts. So as you're joining the live, let me know where you're tuning in from. Drop your thoughts in the comments and invite a friend. Share this live with someone who cares about making our community stronger. This is Real Talk with Fierce Fighter, real people, real issues, real change. Now let's get into tonight's conversation. Delaney Hall is an immigration detention facility. We know that. And Newark operated under a contract with ICE. In recent days, protesters have gathered outside the facility while reports emerged out of detainee hunger strikes and complaints about conditions inside. Even though federal officials dispute many of the allegations and maintain detainees are receiving appropriate care. Now, when concerns are raised about conditions inside a facility, what level of transparency should the public expect? That's my question. 'Cause, as you can see, the videos are surfacing all over the place. Everybody's coming over to Newark, New Jersey to get footage, to see what's happening. And I'm not even sure if those people are from Newark. Demonstrations outside Delaney Hall have grown larger and tensions increased. There have been arrests, confrontations, reports of pepper spray, physical clashes between protesters and federal officers. You even seen people inside the dumpster diving, pulling things out the dumpster. You seen people throwing mattresses, people throwing crates, people throwing all kinds of things. You have kids even out there taunting the ICE agents and respectfully saying, take off the mask and things of that nature. How can communities protect both the right to protest and public safety at the same time? Because what I witnessed was I did see one of the ICE officers take the baton and beat a female over the head. You understand what I'm saying? How can, both sides be protected? Right? Newark is receiving now. We're receiving national attention because of what is happening at Delaney Hall. We discussing immigration detention policies, oversight, public trust, and the role local leadership play. The facility has been controversial. I know you all know about what took place on last year. Since reopening, and has been the subject of legal and political disputes involving Newark officials like Mayor Rajji Baraka last year when he and Bonnie Watson Coleman and Senator Mendez and um, LaMonica MacGyver went over there, and LaMonica is still fighting a federal court um, battle, from what took place and what transpired on last year. And what role, because that's my question, right? What role should Newark residents and leaders have when national issues affect our community? What role should we play? You know, it's an ongoing issue. I'm hearing both sides. Excuse me. I'm hearing both sides. I'm hearing critics. I'm hearing people say if you for ICE, then if you against ICE, then you against all law enforcement. Then on the other side, I'm hearing you know it's okay to protest, but this has gone beyond protesting, right? Because the First Amendment give us the right to a peaceful protest, right? But what we've seen over the past couple of days has been nothing but violence and violent people attacking, on both sides, to where we are at now, where the New Jersey State Police have stepped in. And even though our current governor has advised the state police to set up boundaries of where the protesters can have access to. The protesters, if you go and look right now, you'll see them sitting on the ground and right directly in front and not in that barricade where the governor had placed for the protesters to keep them. So, I'm hearing people saying, well, it's their right. And then I'm hearing other people say, they should be behind that. So we'll see. We're watching it. It's a developing story. And it's all over the place. It's just all over the place. And us Norcas, we have our opinions about it. Some of us agree, some of us disagree. But at the end of the day, this is just our community, and we definitely don't want them other people to come. We have some people who are saying that they're paid actors. We don't know what the scenario is, but what we do know is that they are not from here. Those are not Norcas. So that's what we do know. That's what we do know. We know that they're not Norcas. They are not Norcas. That's what we know. You know, say for years people have talked about Newark. People have talked about us. And when it comes to education, reform, housing, economic development, and public safety, now we are in the national spotlight again because of Delaney Hall. Is this the type of attention we want for our city? No, but at what impact does it have, on our reputation, right? That's a tricky question, like, do we want the national attention? I mean, because we do have some kind of um national attention. All eyes have always been on Newark. Many people support strong immigration laws here, and many people also believe that everyone deserves humane treatment, regardless of immigration status. And I want to know, can both things be true at the same time? Because I'm that person, right? I get it that they are here illegally, but at the same time, right, they're still humans, right? They're still humans, and they still need to be treated as such. That's just my opinion, but can both of them be true at the same time? That's what I want to know, right? Put your comments in, the even for the people that the rewatch game or the replay game, when you come back and replay this video, place your comment, your response in the comment section, and let's have some serious and real conversation surrounding what's happening in Newark right now. Because, like, what does humane treatment mean to you? Because I know what it means to me, and I don't know what is actually happening on the inside because I'm not on the inside. But what I can tell you is that right next door is the Essex County Correctional Facility, where some of our Black and brown people have complained about the conditions that they have been undergoing as well. And so my question to you, right, does one have more does one have more attention than the other? Is one situation better than the other? And to me, it's equal between the two. But let's look out for those people that's in the New Jersey DOC, and again, Essex County Correctional Facility, right? Some are Norcas, some live here, right? And they've complained as well about inhumane treatment that went on and the food that they got. They complained about that, and nobody spoke up. And what gives this situation now more attention, even national attention, right? So, should detention facilities have more independent oversight? What y'all think? How transparent should these facilities be? Right, throughout history, protest has been a tool people use when they feel unheard, right? Because that's what we've known to do down through the years. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, and all of our ancestors have used protest as a means to get attention of lawmakers or legislators. And our ancestors have used protesting, like to gain voting rights and things of that sort, right? But where is the line between peaceful protest, civil disobedience, and public disruption, right? You know what I mean? Have protests ever changed your mind about an issue? That's what I want to know. Protesting, has it ever changed your mind about an issue? Or do protests still work in today's society? Because from the looks of it, in some situations and circumstances, it worked, and then in some cases it don't. And then what makes a protest effective, right? Because we've done it in the past. We've done sit-ins, we've done disrupting meetings and things of that nature, but has never gotten to the point where violence occurred. It's never gotten to that point, you know. And so, whether we're talking about schools, housing authorities, city government, law enforcement, or detention facilities such as Delaney Hall or the Essex County Correctional Facility, many residents say the issue comes down to trust. That's what they're saying. What do you think? Do people trust the institutions that affect their lives? Let me hear what you have to say about that. Because what institution do you trust the most, right? Because at this point, we've been fighting on every end of what we call an institution here, the school system, law enforcement here, you know, the correctional facility. These institutions, have been unjust, but has never gotten to the point where we've protested and it has gotten violent, with the exception of the 1965 uprising that we had in Newark in 1965 in Newark. And so, yeah, let's talk about that. You know, although we know that Mayor Baraka is the mayor, but I want to ask you something. If you were mayor of Newark tomorrow and had one day to address concerns surrounding Delaney Hall and the protests, what would you do first? Let me read that again. If you were mayor of Newark tomorrow and had one day to address concerns surrounding Delaney Hall and the protests, what would you do first? Hold a public meeting, request independent inspections, meet with protesters, meet with federal officials, create a community advisory board. I mean, what would you do if you were mayor of Newark tomorrow? What concerns you the most about what's happening at Delaney Hall right now? Tonight, it isn't about talking or talking about telling anyone what side to take, right? I'm not telling you what side to take, right? It's about understanding what's happening in our city, right? Because that's concerning. I went down there earlier, although I wasn't able to actually go through um the Raymond's Avenue because the state police had it blocked off. But I did see some people parking and gathering and walking to the actual site where Delaney Hall is. And it's just listening and watching and listening to different perspectives and asking questions, that matter. Communities grow stronger when people can disagree respectfully and still have a conversation. You know, I just want to know, because this is happening right in our backyard, and people have spoken up about it. I'm seeing more and more people today, talk about, what's happening, you know, and from what I've taught from what I've seen, I've heard some people say, this is more than a protest. I mean, it's really is. It's more than just a protest. This is outright something else. And I'm even questioning it. Like, I've seen peaceful protests, but over the past couple of days and all week long, it has escalated to the point where people were carried out in the ambulance to the hospital. Why is it that so many issues don't get attention until there are protests, lawsuits, media coverage, or conflict? Why don't we address concerns before they become a crisis? And we've tried, especially with Delaney Hall. We here in Newark have tried. Our elected officials here in Newark have tried to address the concerns before they became a crisis, right? I can say that Newark is proactive versus reactive because we could be down there right now, but we're not, right? Those are not Norcas that's down there at Delaney Hall. And do leaders listen before people get loud? I believe they do. Have you ever felt ignored until you made noise? Sometimes it can get to a place where we're ignored and we got to get loud and make noise. But for the most part, um, it has not gotten this bad where you see what's happening down there at Delaney Hall. It has not gotten to that point. And then when national media comes to Newark, who gets to tell our story? Like, I feel like we should be telling our own story, right? Those people, they need to leave so that we can, and we've told our story, right? And the people who live here, we're the people who are actually looking in from the outside, seriously, because our people are not down here at Delaney Hall. And I feel like Newark is not being portrayed fairly. I feel like the positive stories aren't being told about Newark because they've said some of the craziest and strangest things about Newark. And then, what story would you tell about Newark? So, for the replay gang, I know you go back and replay. I'm just asking these fair questions because I want to know, because these are all of the questions that I have as well. What happens when government agencies, elected officials, advocates, and residents all have different views on the same issue? Well, we normally say we can all agree to disagree. That is our favorite line. We can agree to disagree, and we definitely, Norcas, we definitely agree to disagree. And this everyone talks about accountability, but what does accountability really look like, with those people down there, you know dumpster diving and throwing mattresses and everything all across, down there in front of Delaney Hall, over to the ICE agents and hitting them with those things. Not that I am in no way, in support of ICE. I feel like ICE should be abolished, to be honest with you, because they have masqueraded all across this country and they have violently attacked individuals. And it doesn't take all of that. Yes, they're going to want run. That's a natural instinct when people um, are in trouble. The first thing they do, it's either you going to fight or you going to flight, and they run. That's a natural instinct. And so I think that people can be handled a little better than what they are being handled by ICE. And then you know everyone talks about it, but we do know about accountability here in Newark, and we do hold our elected officials accountable here. And sometimes it do take for us to get loud and make noise. But at the end of the day, it doesn't get to the point where it becomes national news. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't get to the point where there is national news, And my next question would be: can community voices actually create change, or are people wasting their time speaking up? I don't think that people are wasting their time, and I think that community voices actually do create change. Is more of a reason why this platform was created. It was created, for change, because people needed somewhere or need somewhere where they are open to or feel safe and, speaking up and speaking out and everything. And yes, it's, a journey, and have I spoke at public meetings. I've signed petitions. I've even started petitions. I left. I felt that my voice made a difference. In most places, not all the time, but in most places. But you just don't stop here. And whether it's schools, government, law enforcement, housing authorities, or detention facilities, what happens when people lose trust? That's the big question. What happens when people lose trust? Can trust be rebuilt? What makes you trust an organization, and what destroys trust the fastest, and for me is, telling me that something that you're going to do something and you don't do it, right? It's better, for me. That's just for me. I'm just speaking for myself. Where trust can be broken at, because if I come to you with my concern, I would expect for you to at least try to work toward it, right? Try to work toward it. But just outright ignoring me and not even responding, even something as small as a simple response, I heard you, is enough for me to let me know that you heard what I said, that you're acknowledging me, that you're acknowledging that I spoke out, that you're acknowledging that I spoke up. If I send an email, at least respond back and say, I'm in receipt of your email. That lets me know that you received it. I don't know, you're working toward it, but it eases, the questions that I have. Did they receive it? Are they hearing me? Did they see it? And things of that nature. It calms the community. And I'm just speaking about Newark community in the whole, right? Because we have elected officials that do sit in places, and community have a concern, and they bring their concern, and then they have to hear things like, next speaker, right? At least acknowledge that you heard. Thank you for speaking. They do say thank you for speaking, but I need more than just thank you for speaking, next speaker, right? I need for you to say, look, leave your information where we can follow up with you. That suffices, right? That suffices. And at least, make a phone call the next day, or within the next 72 hours to say, we've received your information. We're looking into it. We'll get back to you, something, right? So if you could solve one issue in Newark tomorrow, what would it be? What would it be? If you could solve one issue, what would it be? Because no matter where you stand on Delaney Hall, one thing is clear. Newark residents care about what happens in their city. We care. We can. We're definitely watching. We definitely see. We've been watching. We hear. We're talking about it. Right. So, what solutions should we be discussing instead of simply, arguing about the problems? What concerns you the most about Newark right now? Do you think Newark residents are being heard? What would you change tomorrow if you could? You know? Yeah, these are definitely issues. These are definitely issues that we it's noticeable. We notice it. We see it. And one thing you're gonna know about Norcas is that we sit back and watch and we wait. We don't just jump out there on the limb. We don't jump on bandwagons. We sit back, we watch, we analyze, we discuss amongst each other a plan of action. Just long as they keep whatever they got going on down there, Norcas will be fine. Norcas will be just fine. And I wanted to play because they are live right now down there. They are down there right now. And I wanted to play. Let me see if it'll let me. Let me see if it'll let me play one of the videos where we could watch it to just kind of, and we'll watch it for the next 10 minutes if I can find something. But yeah, these are all of the things that's going on down there. And we got questions. Don't think just for 1 minute that because we've not, been open about what's taking place down at Delaney Hall. We have our thoughts and our opinions about it because right next door, our black and brown brothers are in that and females are in that facility over there. And they can shift right on over there and help out those inmates as well. That's my opinion. Yep. Yep. They're out there right now and it's live. I don't think that, let's see if I can get it going. Hopefully it'll get going. Okay, 1 second. Let me just pull it up here. Okay, it's letting us.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of like my first day at Whipple. I had no intention of fucking getting arrested.
Yeah.
And
So this is live.
To me, it's twisted. We saw this in Minneapolis where the cops are essentially pulling security for ICE. And they, under the auspices of keeping the people safe. And what they're actually doing is keeping the crowd from growing and more of the public building momentum and going, hey, we're not about this fascist shit.
Right.
And so I'm asking them, what are you guys, like, you guys are law enforcement officers, what is the legal code that you guys are following? What's the enforcement that you guys are here to enforce? Like, that's your job. What's the law? And he's like, doesn't have one. He pulls a sheet of paper out of his pants, and he reads me a sentence. And it's like, well, that's not a law, man. That's something you guys just came up with this morning as a reason for you guys to be doing this. And he's like, you need to get out of the street. And then like 20 minutes, I kept talking to them. And like 20 minutes later, he's like, well, I told you to get out of the street. And I'm like, all right, man. Well, I'm just trying to figure out.
Let's walk over there. And I think there's some ICE representatives over here. I don't want to cut story, but you might, even for you too. I think they have some ICE officials over here. Yeah. We'll continue, guys. We'll continue Ian's story here after this. Give it a moment.
Fascists! ICE are fascists! We're all Americans out here.
Excuse us. Hey, what are you doing right here?
Fucking fascist. Go work for your pedophile. Go lick his fucking boots. You fucking boot licker. Fuck you. Oh, man, you're just a fucking pedophile. Fascist. Fuck you, I. Fuck you, I. He's dressed like a homophobe. Come on, be a fucking man and face us. Fuck you, I. Fuck you, I. Is it a brown beer?
But actually what happened is something from on high, somebody came down and said, wait, this isn't going well for us, send the cops in so that this doesn't look as bad, right? Because then people go, oh, they're messing with the police, right? They're messing with the police. That's your guys' role. Protect ICE from themselves. You're not here to protect us. We know we're in danger. We know ICE is pushing people into oncoming 18-wheelers, and we're still here. Because we're not afraid to die because we actually stand.
In an alternate universe.
Come on, people, where are your voices?
They're roof goons.
Yeah, geo guys. It looks like civilians.
It's right there.
Yeah.
And be mindful, because let me tell you, I seen the person who was being interviewed with an Antifa. So there you have it. These people are not from here. They are not from Newark. They are not Norcas. They are not from here. But we're going to resume because this is happening live right now in front of Delaney Hall.
And then I got a video of them on the other side, like riffing with the protest too.
I had seen them over on the other side.
Yeah, they're doing like this to the
This
protest.
is the first time that from this
See them up there. Rooftop guys. It's always real when there's rooftop guys.
Fascist! With the receding hairline, I fucked your dad and I made him come.
Get out of New Jersey!
Yeah, flannel shirt. I fucked your dad. Come on, man. I got pictures and everything. Yeah, you.
Yeah. Good size.
ICE, cops, KKK, IDF, they're all the same. 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 Now they're saying, a lot of them are their crusaders. Fuck you, ICE. Hi, baby.
Check into the stream where you guys are tuned in from. What city, what state, where in the world you're watching. Okay. All right, you can finish it now.
Yeah.
All right. So what happened? And you were asking.
This might be my lawyer.
Okay. Yeah, that's important. I'll take it.
Chicago, a city connected not just by train lines or shore lines, but by the drive to never settle. We talk less, dream bigger, and never stop pushing. We change the course of rivers and the course of history. When we build things, the world looks up. So welcome to the greatest city in the world, because in Chicago, we are never done and we are never outdone.
And they sort of stop really responding, but they stop telling me to get out of the street. So I'm what's your name, what's your badge number? I was getting some of that. And what's the legal reasoning, what's the legal code, like what is the explanation for what you guys are doing? And they just didn't have one. And then eventually there's a few more of them out there. And eventually the guy does start talking again, like 20 minutes later, and he's like,
Let's walk this way so we can hear you better.
We told you to get out of the street. You're not getting out of the street. And I'm like, okay, man, I'm just trying to get an answer to my question. And then I'm going to turn to walk away, and he's like, you're under arrest. And arrest me.
Do you feel like it was targeted? Do you feel like you were singled out?
No. I don't. I think that they definitely didn't know who I was.
Okay.
It was just two random cops, at least in the beginning. But, as out here with the ICE agents, it's like, if I don't feel like I'm breaking the law, like, I'm okay being at risk of being arrested, because, like, that's their whole thing, is, like, intimidating people to not come out here, to not be here. And it's like, we have to be willing to risk shit, right? So it's like, yeah, like, I don't know, everyone's so worried about me being out here and you're going to get arrested and then you're going to be in county because of the Righteous 39 trial and all that. But it's like, I don't know, like when I was in the car going back, I was thinking, I'm not seeing the light of day for another year or two. And I'm telling the dudes, I'm like, you guys just made me a martyr. And like, I don't want to be a fucking martyr. I didn't want to go to jail. I didn't drive out to Minnesota wanting to go to jail, right? But it's like, we have to be willing to sacrifice something. For me, I'm willing to put my body in harm's way, and question the police and the government about their actions. What you see in the protests and what I feel like I saw out there is that I get under their skin.
Well, guys, that's it for tonight's conversation for the replay gang. Go back. Thank you for joining. If you're part of the replay gang, make sure you share. Make sure you tune in on Monday with Real Talk with Fierce Fighter, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. every night, Monday through Friday. Listen, if you got a topic that you want to discuss, if you got an idea, bring yourself over here. Make sure you like, subscribe, and tap that bell so that when I go live, you can be notified. Thanks again, even to the replay gang. Thank you for joining in. Real Talk with Fierce Fighter.
Real Talk with Fierce Fighter. For every parent raising a hand, for every child needing a chance, for every classroom left behind, we speak the truth out loud tonight. Newark, I hear you, I see you, I stand with you. We don't ask for scraps, we ask for justice. Education is equity, equity is power, power belongs to the people, and the people won't be silenced. Real talk, fierce fighter. Real talk for Newark. Real talk, we rise up. Real talk, we move forward. This is your voice. This is our city. This is the fight.